proceed in there.
The only resistance I have to that is as long as we let it in now or close it. When we need to. First, because the humidity is not bad, but we'll get warm. Yeah, that's fine for now. Yeah, that's not basically warm. It's an air conditioning. Come on, for good while. You felt it? Yeah. Okay.
I don't
That's perfect.
That's perfect. Okay, I know.
Awesome. Told you, but it's almost.
Okay.
Everyone's coming tomorrow.
He is coming tomorrow, yes. So is James coming today? I think he's coming tomorrow.
James?
Yeah, because I don't have this set. I was wondering if he could print out the rest because they only have up to page 11, but we can share.
I can share this. Books are not easy. I was thinking we could read together first chapter, but maybe many people don't have books, I guess. How many people have the book? Not this one, but we can show.
Oh, sorry, this one. Does anyone have it? No.
Okay. Maybe this morning I was thinking we could read or chant together the first chapter, what we finished last Sunday. But I think we don't have enough.
Here, perhaps Lincoln or Damien, maybe, I don't know if James is planning to come, but maybe he could print off just the first chapter he could do it up in the apartment if you guys can communicate with him. Is that a good idea?
That's what people
okay.
Many people are usually online, they can project the text, yeah.
And Damien, would it be possible to have for Kimpo like last time so we can see everybody on Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can start our
opening prayers. Okay. So welcome everyone. We will begin with the opening prayers in the prayer book beginning on page 1. So we'll do once in English and once in Tibetan. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. So page 2. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind.
de nyama san ta zam je ba do le nga yi ge wa la ko.
Page 3. All sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in the glorious kind Lama Vajradhara, the embodiment of the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, source of the 84,000 categories of the teaching, and Lord of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in all the Dalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom.
Nangeng ta dan nyam be sem jen dam ji cho ju tu som je di yin ji ba dam ji ji ko zon to yo den zhen le dam ji ji ngo ge re ju wa ju ji bong bo dong cha ji ji za yin jun pa be gen de tam ji ji nga da chen chen za wa dang ju ba re ji bi par den la ma dam ba na la ja zhen ji wo ye dan jing ko re ji la zo na la ja zhen ji san ji jam den de na la ja zhen ji wo tam be ju na la ja zhen ji pa be gen de na la ja zhen ji wo pa wan kan zhuo ju zhong zong me zo yi xie jie jian dan den ba na la ja zhen ji wo.
Page 4. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path.
我想就宁波人亲戚把三界南来叫神迹，就当想就神巴耶，错浪的心叫神迹，学在我界的些界，讲究都能记巴当，想就神别拉巴拉。 得达人心内巴达的心着了本等的，讲究神内积极心，的心都内拉巴拉，人把心都拉巴耶。
Page 5. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
我上界就当作界就南来，将就把得大内家生界，大给解所界别所能见，着来偏见的上见着白说。
May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Ma nam ka dan nyam be sem jen tam je de wa dan de ve jo dan den barai jo je dong a dan je jo dan Bebe Dewa Dan Mendra Nyeren Jadan Yindan Trave Danyom La Nebara Joy.
Page 6. Refuge of all
Sentient
sentient beings without
without
exception,
exception,
divine subjugator of terrifying Maras, together with their hosts of demons, the one who understands all realities without exception exactly as they are, transcend and conquer together with your disciples, please come here to this place.
Benza Samanza, Benza Samanza, Benza Samanza, Malu Simjin, Kunjin Gonjorjin, Dude Bonje Mezen Jumzela, Muna Malu Jishin Janjorobe, Jumden Koroji, Nindre Zozo.
Page 7. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the four continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate.
Soji Puju Juji Medo Dram Rara Lengshi Nyinde Jembande Sanje Jinla Mede Purvaye Ndokun Namda Jin Jubai Choi Chansarwa Dan Jujin Shaba Dan Jiso Jiran Korshin Sarwaye Gewa Junze Dage Jezaba Tamji Zobe Shanjo Jermo.
Page 11. Do we turn? Namo. To the Lama of utterly pure appearance and existence, I offer the fundamental ground of appearance and existence. I supplicate you to thoroughly liberate the three realms. Please grant your blessings and overturn the depths of samsara. Sublime Master, wish-fulfilling jewel, crown ornament the inconceivable, inexpressible mind of the victorious ones, the one endowed with the five wisdoms of omniscience, gracious one, the embodiment of love, precious protector of beings, I supplicate you from within the essence of mind. Please grant your blessings from within the innate nature. Please bless me that I may realize the Dharmakaya that is beyond intellect, this primordially unborn, completely pure mind. Transcend and conquer the one thus gone, foe destroyer of afflictive emotions, completely perfected Buddha, endowed with logic and virtue, the one gone to bliss, knower of the world, captain, tamer of beings, the unexcelled teacher of gods and men. I respectfully prostrate, completely touching my head to the stainless feet of the unequaled Shakya king. At the time of your birth, leader of two-legged beings, taking 7 steps on this great earth, you proclaimed, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, even then I prostrate. Possessing a body of complete purity, your sublime form is excellent. An ocean of primordial wisdom, you are like a golden mountain, the one whose renown is evident throughout the 3 worlds. Protector of supreme attainment, to you I prostrate. To you who are endowed with the supreme marks, whose face is like an immaculate moon, to you, the one with a complexion like gold, I prostrate. A flawless one such as you among the 3 levels of existence is most exquisite. Unparalleled, omniscient one, to you I prostrate, supreme among humans, captain of those to be tamed, the one thus gone, who severs the all-binding fetters, who with senses pacified is utterly pacified and skilled in peace. To that one, the one who dwelled at Shravasti, I prostrate. Refuge endowed with great compassion, totally omniscient one who indicates the way, ground basis for oceans of merit and qualities, I prostrate to the one thus gone, the pure cause free from attachments, the virtue that liberates from the lower realms, the altogether supreme ultimate truth, to the pacifying Dharma I prostrate. Having been liberated, they also reveal the path to liberation. Thoroughly respectful of the three higher trainings, they are a field of sublime qualities. To the Sangha, I also prostrate. And so then we can flip back to page 9.
Namo Nansi Namdagi Lama La Nansi Shirjen Sun Chubanbo Kamsan Yondro De Zorwan De Purva Tondro Se Shinjelo Jeji Norwe Zogi Jen Masan Jumi Jarwe To Chimbe ye nga dan den zebe dani gari jen rowa jom ze rembo je da sing ni ji ngang ne zo wan den chuni ji ngang de xin je lo sem do ne ji me nam dan de Londe juga dobare shinje lo jon dende tishin shikwa rajumba yang tabara zobe sanje rikpa dan shabsa denpa devara shikwan je den chimba jivan durwa kalo ijirwa Lana me ba la da me nam je tomba nyame sha ji jarbo shab je do chema me ba la go rab de do de gu chan za lo gan ze gan ni zo ju dan ze sa chen de la gon ba de ho Ngānen jī tēn tē nān chō jē sōn tē tsēn kē pāi chū lai chān zā. Nam dāi kē ngān chō tē sū sōng wā yī shī chān tsō sēr jī lōn bō. Chāk pāi jī tēn sōn nā lōng ē wān gōn bō yin chō nī chū lai chān zā. Senjo denpai chimin dawe shar sen don dawai chulai chanza. Tudrai chundra sipa sonan zinyamin chen chen chulai chanza. Mincho darwai kaloi junzi chen kunjuran chingwai junzi tishin. Mambo xie xin ye xie xie lang ge nye yu xiu pa te lai chan za lo mambo tu ji che den ba tam jin chen ba dong ba su nan yo den jan zo xie ti xi ye lai chan ta bian do jia zha wei jie ge wei nye song le zhe xin ji de ta dan qiu jie wai xi jie qiu lai chan za chou ne zhe wei lam yang dong la ba da la rab de xin ge tan ba yan den xin gen du la yang chan za lo.
So then we flip to page 15. I prostrate to the youthful Manjushri, To those in the worlds of the 10 directions, however many there are, all the lions among humans appearing in the 3 times, to all of them without exception, I pay homage with respectful body, speech, and mind. The force of my aspiration prayer for excellent conduct brings all the victorious ones directly to mind. Bowing down with bodies as numerous as atoms in the realms, I prostrate to all the victorious ones. In a single atom there are Buddhas as numerous as atoms, each residing in the midst of their sons and daughters. Like that, I imagine the whole Dharmadhatu completely filled with victorious ones. To those with oceans of inexhaustible, praiseworthy qualities, with sounds containing oceans of tones of melodic speech, I express the qualities of all the victorious ones. I praise all the Sugatas, with the finest flowers, the finest garlands, music, ointments, supreme parasols, supreme lamps, and the finest incense. I make offerings to the victorious ones, with the finest cloths, supreme scents, and fine powders equal to Mount Meru, all displayed in supreme and magnificent ways. I make offerings to those victorious ones. With vast and unsurpassable offerings, I venerate all the victorious ones. Through the power of faith and excellent conduct, I prostrate and offer to the victorious ones. Whatever negative actions I have performed with body, speech, and also mind, overpowered by desire, aggression, and stupidity, I confess each and every one of them. I rejoice in everyone's merit, the victorious ones of the 10 directions, the bodhisattvas, the particular Buddhas, those in training, those beyond training, and all beings. I request the protectors, the lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who passing through the stages of awakening, attain Buddhahood beyond attachment, to turn the unsurpassable Dharma wheel. I supplicate with my palms joined together those who intend to demonstrate nirvana, to remain for kalpas as numerous as atoms in the realms, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. I dedicate whatever slight virtue is accumulated through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and supplicating to enlightenment. And so then back to page 14.
Om Papan Jambara Shona Jawala Jansalo Shini Sodai Choji Jidana Tuson Jiba Meye Senge Age Malu Tada Tamje La Ludang Aye Tangwe Chaji Sombo Jubi Molam Topda Ge Jawa Tamji Yijing Muzum Shinge Dunye Lurabda Baye Jarwa Gunla Rabda Chansal Durji Dena Dunye Sanje Nam Sanje Zeje Una Shubat Tadai Joje Yena Malu Batamje Jarwa Taki Kanwaram Tadai Ngaba Meze Jamzo Na Yangje Yanla Jansu Dragonj Jarwa Gunje Yoden Rabju Shin Devara Shikwa Tamje Dakit Medo Tamban Chinwa Tamba Dan Sinye Namdan Yubi Dongjo Marmin Chodon Dupu Tamba Ye Jarwa Dada Lanen Jubaraj Naza Tamba Namdan Chinjo Don Chimi Purma Rara Nyamba Goba Jebra Babin Jogun Ji Jarwa Dada Lion Jubaraj Goba Gana Lami Jajewa Dada Jarwa Damje Lion Sombo Jola Devi Dobda Ge Jarwa Gunlai Jansaran Jubaraj Doja Shedam Demo Wange Ne Ludan Adan Tejin Yiji Deba Dage Jeba Jinji Wada Damji Dage Sosoroya Choju jarwa kundan sanje ze ranja namdan lobdan me lob. Drawa gunji sunam kalayam teda gunji jesu dayera. Konan choju jiden drama da janjo rambaran sanja majan. Gombo teda dagi tamje la ngolo la na me ba gowa. Nyangin da dong kong xi da da lan zho wa gung la ben xin de wich. Karwa xin ki dor ni shu para yang da ki tar mo rab jar sor wara. Chan zar wa dan ju jin ya wa dan ji si ye rong go jin sor wa. Ye wa jun se da kim ki zab tam ji da ki shang chu jer ngo.
So then to page 16, the request for teaching. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Samjin namje samba dan lo ye je ra je da wa je jan te mon te ba chu jin ko lo go do so. Thank you, everyone. Everyone here, and also maybe there's someone online, probably. And if you are new, I first chant my lineage prayer, and then we can go through our teaching, which is, I think, we will start with chapter 2 today.
And also, just for the people who are on Zoom, Kimbo is now able to see you. He has the laptop, so yeah.
Jujinje la baranza dozo, gongge shazon da yun mengam kazan zimben dong ra xin, chenpe sewo, zendro za wen ro kun mege dos. Tuljin da ma guni jurin jiden som jin gong jabe tong, pin ma garbo da ren da lo yin zoro re jong, war jen zolun pin me dong bo ze, jarwe nam ro rong jing lun je. Chanzo be ye yoden zo barbe pe manjung ne da lo ben zo ro jong xi ni tian kun xi jin su bin chen zi jin ko ra gong xin ro gun zhen mo men ba shen zi lo zhu kun de yan de ko dong yi je zhe ba me gong chun yin ka lang zi ba gang jan ba ra xiao ne gun ne ga we zo gin ju yin zhuo be ma kar bon zhen be xia re le song zi dong ge cha wa Yinge masa lorun chozo yang jian nga ge ba da yi yang kao re do ga ren jian ying bong go ro yo den gun jiang ga yu ji zar yin bo tang sui pe pe nan jir wa chen me yu e zir xia je da yi jiang xi ya gun zhen zhuo la ji zi zi chen me yu zir yang zhuo tu tian zhu wu zir long qian nang kui nan jir Jingmi limbi shala zorwan de jadar jarwe ze bo shawala nondar chobe onjo shawara songwan pangcho donga rongzhar Jingmi chuji wangbo da ye jang riktong jambar shunu shalable gongbe longle bobe darje cho longdo chunze jang zonga dan Mi pam jam yang nam jala kui jam za ya den song je gun dong nyam na yang ka din song je gun le lao bin sa we la ma da la zarwan de da son ro we la na chu lai jo. 정말 단 추 Nyembe, Gulang Tang Gunju, Dagbar Yangchur Shuna, Kitchenbo Indu, Yangchur, Yokoya Chagar, the Indu, Chunyembe Gulong, Gunju Teso, Yu Kantop Chen, Gulang Sambo Juyat, Kitchenbo, Dianangazo, the Namju Logyak, Tem Dinong, Toman Dundior, Jambro Simchine, Yala Dumpane, Sondetene, Laminanjur Sena, Tanda, Namanasi Namda Lamat, Laminanjur. Chin Taindu, Pandinong Jetoman Dube, Yomare, Ti Don't pick up Sangazo, Po Gila, Sek Ye turn transacto, Sek Ye's turn trampatin. The Loki. Tige turn data so Hakovach, so Jula, Jarnet, so Yamlan Kong Toto, Maya to Kitchen More.
And so as we begin with the teachings this morning, as we mention time and time again, the importance of having a pure motivation when engaging in any Dharma practice, and then based on that pure intention, that pure motivation, dedicating ourselves to that activity of Dharma to the best of our ability. And so, here in this case, receiving teachings, then it's really important to take a moment to turn the mind inward and really see that our motivation is pure, that we have a good intention, a productive intention. And so this can be accomplished automatically through the recitation of the opening prayers. So in this book that we have of these opening prayers, these recitations, everything for establishing the correct motivation, the pure motivation, is in there. All the way from refuge, the four immeasurables, generating the two types of bodhicitta, and the also this section, for instance, that we have this very powerful section which we refer to in Tibetan as the Namsi Namdak. So it's that section where it begins Namo to the Lama, the completely pure Lama of appearance and existence, and so there's nothing that's not contained within that. And when we recite all of these opening prayers, we can do so in a way that actually is referred to as reciting the words or following the words, but reflecting upon the meaning, so that it's not just kind of like an empty recitation, but as we recite the words, that we're really cultivating the mind states that are connected with those words. So as we read little by little, we understand the meaning. It takes root in our mind stream, and that's really the best way to establish a pure motivation at the outset is to take the opportunity of reciting these prayers in such a way that that's what's happening.
Awa Gumba Cuba Rius Seya Tang Tine Yewa Shenji Konishina Shi Lam Riusen Tendrik Hien Ta Jerton Chu Hibi Caps Yewa Chene Tene Shawena Kole Kare Kole Lagra Carson Karel Hisegur Karel Lamsegur Karel Riusegur Karel Tawasegur Karel Gumbasegur Karel Juba Karel and Rivasegur so Jerton Namju Chuhi Caps Tarake Chembo Chagliore and in the Jerton Namju Kechujilla Oma say at the Hivi Caps then Karsel Karan Kandajil will make it Tawasegur Kandajil will make Gumbase Karajil will make Rivasegur isn't Oma Lion Takum Chu Sum Tende Yeva Hilam Re Sonam Takum Chu Sum Yeva Tende Chegur Tende Hiwama Dani Sung Jux Hiwama Dembani Song Tunjuparis Lam Uma Chokni Sung Jux Lam Say
so gari dampo ji deni zongju.
Hiwama Dani Sung Jux Lam Uma Chokni Sung Jux Lam Chokni Sunam the Yishi Chokni Song Tunjupa Riu Uma Kunni Sung Jux Gosen and Chukutang Sukuni Kunni Sung Jux Oma Rangi Chuke Lion Then Hilam Reson Jeju Teshendo Mark Gaps Hilam Reson Chaking Gaps Hilam Reson and Tanda Zoking Gaps Hilam Reson said Somal Cheju then do to the days Jene Chuki Chuki Sana Chuk Chick Chuk Te Hakwat Kitchen Nin Te Chuki Teso Tene Tong Yong Yana Ko Yong Gaps the Kandajil Sergume Teso Hakona Yabuyore.
So last time, or last Sunday, we spoke a lot about, kind of as a foundation relate to this, the ways to relate to or understand these divisions that appear often, being the divisions of the view, the meditation, and the conduct, which also are in some ways synonymous with, but also can be alternatively described as the divisions of the ground, the path, and the fruition. And so, to understand kind of what is meant by these different stages or these different kind of aspects of the aspects in like different contexts. So for instance, really understanding, what is meant by the ground, what is it that is really meant by the path, what is really meant by the fruition, and likewise, how to really understand in each context, what is really meant by the view, by meditation, and by conduct, and so generally, for instance, in the case of Madhyamaka, so we should understand, what is it, how is it that from the perspective of Madhyamaka, we think about the view, how is, or what is the nature in this case, of meditation, and what is the nature of the fruition in the context of Madhyamaka. And so, and also there, likewise, in Madhyamaka, the ways of relating to are these divisions of ground, path, and fruition. So in the context of Madhyamaka, so we can think of the ground, for instance, as being the indivisibility, the indivisible union of the two truths. We can think of the path as being the indivisible union or the indivisibility of the two accumulations being the accumulation of merit and the accumulation of wisdom. We can think of the fruition as being the indivisible union of the two kayas, the Dharmakaya and the Rupakaya, the form kaya. And so in, this is also a process of becoming really familiar with what's meant, by these different Dharma terms, so ground, path, fruition, and how they are understood in their respective contexts. Like, for instance, so we have how it is understood in the context of Madhyamaka, how it is understood in the context of Tantra, how it is understood in the context of Mahamudra, how it is understood in the context of Dzogchen. And also the relationship there, the similarity, the sameness, and the distinctions. together with this, particularly in the context of this text and the terminology that we find in Dzogchen, it's really important to understand the meaning of these Dharma terms. And so then as we become familiar, then we know when we read them, when we hear them, there's a sort of specific understanding of what these terms are referring to, which is also important.
근데 배 착라고 샤와이나 착자 첨부 값서 단다 간마바랑 중도지 송 단다 착천 문람 배자 첨부지 여러 직전에 지난 소매 하고 연대 하 마분나
공타 카마 가레레
착천 문람 간마바랑 중도지 송으로
음.
디난도 되네 착천지 값서 정시是 정정是 purifying or purification.
Jiangxi.
정시 심리 사르통 성교 라스 심리 사르통 성교. And the 정차 lower tribute mass. And 정시 마음 줘봐 정시에 착신 돌지 난조서 착자 전부 돌지 난조
착신
돌지 난조
돌지 난조
장제 치차 축 문조 효성
치차 축구
축
축구 치차 축구
장제 장위근 리부트와 축 문조 효성 문조 효성 근데 자제 전부 문안 나올 때도 같아서 거주 전부다 된다 전부요 그랬더니 신람제에서 단도나 주 가르치는 도시 응합시 작전 속전 강시나요 신람제에서 다 따금 주서 대시야요 그래서
So, for example, there is the Mahamudra aspiration prayer by Karmapa Rangjung Dorje that many of you are probably familiar with, where there is this explanation of kind of these 4 aspects of purification. So, for instance, the like one being the ground or the basis of purification is the indivisibility of clarity and emptiness, which is the essence of awareness or the true nature of the mind. And that which is to be purified, or that which it purifies, are the temporary obscurations or the adventitious defilements. And then there's also the basis for purification being the yoga of, is it the yoga or the yogi of the Vajra Mahamudra? Yoga. So the yoga of the Vajra yoga of Mahamudra, and the fruition. So Zhongji Yosamare Zhongche. Zhongche. So sorry, not the basis.
Purifying or purifier.
And that which is purifying, actively purifying.
That which can purify. The tool for purification.
Yeah. That which actively is doing the purification is the yoga, the Vajra yoga of Mahamudra. And then the fruition of purification is that whatever shines forth is Dharmakaya, right? So whatever it is that arises or whatever shines forth is understood to be none other than the Dharmakaya. And so that is when, there's the fruition, the manifestation of the fruition. That is the sign of fruition. And so in any case, this is also then very connected with these three: ground, path, fruition, and these three appear in all contexts of the different divisions of Vajrayana Dharma, and also in Sutra. So Sutra, Tantra, Mahamudra, Dzogchen, they are relevant to all of the different types of practice.
네 조ken 롱게 탄다 배차 충충게 나와 실람제 좀 탐지 창대거든 징밀랭베게 탄다 실람제 좀지 몰람세 대여 대 탄다 인지도 겨셔가 요사드네
Jilam Jesumgi Monam.
그래서 뒤소요나 그래서 남주 찌르통가서 부게 룩소라 작전 몰람 조ken 실람제 좀지 몰람돼서 니마레르신다 감된치야 그래서 인지루스 daily practicing 텐데 제빌룩소 요래는 그래서 토마탄다 인지솔라 겨울쇼래 이제 뭔가 뒤쪽이나 시그나요 요래스
And so also there is a very wonderful aspiration prayer of Jigme Lingpa, the aspiration prayer regarding the three, the ground, path, and fruition. Of Dzogchen specifically. So all the meaning of the ground, path, and fruition are in the context of Dzogchen are complete within this aspiration prayer, and it is translated into English. So if you have time, it might be good to familiarize yourself with it, to read it. In Tibetan, the Tibetan tradition, there is this kind of practice of doing daily recitations, which might include, for instance, this aspiration prayer or the Mahamudra aspiration prayer, Rebe. Both, or both, and/or both. And so they are both translated into English. And so if you have time, you might want to add those to your daily recitation. The Jigme Lingpa, the Monlam de Gitsengare.
Aspiration prayer for ground path fruition of Dzogchen. Probably, but that's I don't know. Others maybe translate
differently. There's always variation.
Yeah. Timachita there's telemando chivin, the mambo channel, the ine Kasong Getachung song, he said that Tawa said any Chibando Jungzi Shivana. Shite ngopo ke nature te yimba te rangi ha kowa tang ichi yowa ti ko ne nyangwa lebya thala tene shit tawi tanlam beb sendo shit tawi ko ne tanlam beb gures tene lam se de asan rosa la wach figuro te lam gombe nyam slans lam said gom said na so lam said jer thong the chen and the yore sane tap tan shawate gom jamne nyam slan go res I shit away tan lam be lam gombe nyam slane tene dan river yin thot le bam yin lo ngo she batala tene tokwa de jwas dan dona shilam de song 타가노 데스 체와이나 시세야도 고 내술 샤샤와테 따와서야도 랑게 용술주건 때는 뵙고 같아 근데 저도 가정에서 따와 요바 쌈지 드네 똑발레베게 단도나 정말 똑바 레비아칼레 커버 따와다 제통 삼출들 세고로
And so there is a lot of discussion regarding kind of the difference, or what are the kind of very subtle differences between, say, ground and view. So there are these slight differences, but really, so the ground is referring to the true nature, or like the true nature of reality, really, or things. And so understanding that, or developing confidence or belief, or confidence or faith in that, or really just confidence, actually, I think is how you would translate it here, is the view. So the ground is what is understood, and the view is what one develops certainty in with respect to the ground. So then the path is the path that we traverse, which is essentially meditation, or the practice of meditation. So it is the method. The path is essentially like applying the method, which is the methods for habituating the practice or the meditation. And then the fruition is the result of that, in which one really comes to recognize, or to realize, really, the true nature, how things actually are. So this is the kind of the manifestation, or the full maturation of realization. That is what is being referred to when we refer to the fruition. So ground, path, and fruition. And so when one develops, there has to be more than just the realization of the view, or developing certainty with respect to the view. So one develops certainty with respect to the view, but that alone does not suffice. In order for realization cannot develop just through recognition of the view, or through developing certainty with regard to the view. So there has to be recognition, but then there also has to be habituation. Samsu lagare sunyin, samsu. Samsu. Okay, how come okay.
근데 인도 당가 저 레부 당보 추잉조 데 시 거시거 시태용 적천기 시기 거시거 다 시세도 근데 롱천 바게 종로 롱천 바게 종데 롱천 바게 따와트 콩르 랑게 따와트당 근데 너당 균의 시작부 따와 뒤따와 대당 적천기 신이데 기과 작을 네가 없어
Gari Dzogchen Gi.
적천기 시당 단다 롱천바게 따와지 여러 롱천바게 따와테 너주 주마메바네 너다 주네 소르 너도 주를 땡네 롱천 비주를 따와 총대바 따와 또대바 제대바 여러 대당 적천기 시세야 돼 되니 근데 직과 작을 단다 따와티 양 타와 이 연나 당원의 시태당 등고를 가르치는 시세야 돼 뭐 부크네로 들세거라 봐 이나요 나 책이거는 시도 롱천비 시세가 말봐 어떻게 laptop이야 말 보게라 롱천바게 따와서 laptop을 말도 롱천바게 시세 라벼요 적천기 시를 말도 적천기 따와서도 강사 신식이 적천기 시텔라 간리치 따그 요매단 간리치 하고 간리치는 삼로 당고에 텔게 자식을 말도
Dzogchen rang ki tawa se,
Mhm.
se du Dzogchen kansa marwa.
Mhm.
Yin du daya mar. Xie se du ngopu ne zu ten la pap shakwa, ngopu ne zu tala se yore. Tawa se du te ten la mbebyi ki samsul, sambangam, tokwa tala se yore wa.
Mhm. Mm. So, what here, like in the first chapter, what Longchenpa is really discussing is the ground, the Dzogchen ground, or the ground in connection with Dzogchen. And so this is what Longchenpa is really speaking to, and the view in this case is really like the view is the understanding of Longchenpa, sort of basing with the foundation being kind of the sutras and tantras, and then his own understanding is the view of the ground, the Dzogchen ground. So there's sort of this distinction. The ground is what is connected with Dzogchen. Dzogchen itself, the ground of Dzogchen, and then Longchenpa is what is connected with the view, Longchenpa's view. So you wouldn't say, for instance, and this view is based on his direct realization with the foundation of, kind of the stainless kind perfection or words of the teachings found in the as they accord with the sutras and tantras, and so the ground of Dzogchen is what is connected with Dzogchen. The perfect view, the perfected view, is like one that understands in accord with the ground. One understands the ground correctly, and so the true nature is understood, and that understanding is the view. So the view is really what is possessed by the individual. So we wouldn't say, for instance, the ground of Longchenpa. We would say the view of Longchenpa. And likewise, we wouldn't say the view of Dzogchen, although people do say that.
Yeah.
But it isn't really correct to say the view of Dzogchen, it's the ground of Dzogchen. And so it is the individual who understands, and it is the view of kind of the vehicle, or the category of, say, Dzogchen. So then at the time, with regard to the ground, that nature is understood, certainty is developed with regard to that nature. And then there is kind of like, he's using the word samsul, which is like means opinion, which isn't quite correct here, but like in other words, one has the view that arises, or the realization that arises, which is actually also specific to the individual. So that is the view.
Tawa sangbos, tawa ngembas te chikina nge samchur labdu. Chikina sangbo chikol ko tawa sayata tawa sangbo yore, tawa ngemba yore, tawa ndraminda mangbo yore. Ina xie sangbo yore, xie ngemba yore nga tso labtawo maro. Xie ti kono njurwa meba, chuji yin, chuni talisakor.
And so likewise, you can say that there are all different types of views. So there are good views, or there are correct views, there are incorrect views, there are like wholesome views, or productive views, there are unproductive or negative views. But you can't say that, so there are all these different types of views, but you can't say that you can't make the same distinction with regard to ground. There is no like positive and negative with respect to the ground. The ground is just the unchanging true nature, which is the basic space of all phenomena.
Re, ta chu yin sene juryaten basic space of phenomena. Jordo, the matter ying jigburndana, and the chewing, ying said, the chew ying said, turned out jigbar, the Jerton Tammanche Tem de Pichu Dang Tene, Tendichiva in the basic space of phenomena. Loud Yina Jikina Yana Dharmadhatus la Chu Yings, Yana expands Rojilamnama to basic space at this Kinsan Roja Narong Tongdo.
The laptang shimba gashe garina, chu ying lapna, the expanse of phenomena. The chu laukade bear.
Chu need.
So we have this term that like the basic space of phenomena, which is what we are saying when we translate the word chu ying, and the reason why maybe this is how we're like, or at least I as a translator am translating it this way, is because we are using this book, and this is how it is translated here as the basic space of phenomena. But there is this term chu ying, and there's a term ying. Both appear a lot in Dzogchen, and they mean really the same thing. One, chu ying has also the word phenomena in it, but it also has the word ying, which means here is translated as space, but also Kimbola said he prefers the word expanse. And so sometimes it appears just as the expanse, sometimes as the expanse of phenomena, or just as space, or the basic space of phenomena. But he thinks that, so the other way it is translated, of course, is into its Sanskrit word, which is Dharmadhatu. But Kimbo feels that the basic space of phenomena is kind of strange. So, and it is true, they add the word basic, which is kind of, that's not there in the Tibetan. But I kind of like it.
Timate and Ludrup can say Shawa, Nagarjuna. Chewing Tobas, Chuji Ying la Tobas, Chuji Ying la Toba Chena, then basic space of phenomena. Dona Kenzano, that Jerton Tanda. Chu Ying say sort of a deeper connotation, more spiritual connotation than just some sort of open space. And in that sense, Nagarjuna's praise to the Dharmadhatu is Dharmadhatu's praise, venerated or praised by Nagarjuna and others. So it's a little bit, for me, it's basic space. It's a little bit demoted, the term.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But
then it expands also, maybe cannot really have that little bit veneration in it there either. So sometimes people use as vastness, but that is also another thing. This has, in a certain context, it has very heavy carry very heavy kind of dharmic connotation. That's Dharmadhatu is the Dharmakaya, it's much more than just basic space.
So what he was just also what he said in Tibetan, which he didn't say here, but he kind of said again in English, that he was referring to. So it seems like what he's saying is that the reason why this term, the basic space of phenomena, doesn't work for him is because there's a certain elevation of the term or a reverence, a sense of reverence that is lost. He feels like it kind of like demotes the term. And yet at the same time, it's kind of problematic all around, he said, because if you say expanse, the expanse of phenomena, or the vastness, maybe, he said, but then it's like, basic space phenomena in comparison with that sounds a little bit more spiritual. So it's sort of like this in-between thing of really having a problem finding the right term. But there is, he made reference to, for instance, Nagarjuna's praise to the Dharmadhatu, and also other, praises. There is this sort of really exalted, dare I say, mystical quality of the Dharmadhatu, or that aspect is kind of lost. Enlightened quality. So that is why he takes issue with the term.
At least what we need to think about when we say basic space of phenomena, it's meant to be a higher dimensional kind of spiritual meaning, rather than just basic space, sort of nothing, kind of vacuum, open things. And then that chewing to the gaps, Korong Pechan di San Korong, the chewing zoo, say, not the kitchen body. The chewing zoo, then the 11 di gaps, Karshin dosana, Korwa than Yang and Deba, Ninga, Ying, Chuji, Ying, Tele, Namyong, Charlie or Marion, yo Marion, Tele, loss, then Chori or Marion. Title of
the title,
the chapter, the end.
At the end,
yeah,
of the chapter? Okay.
Jertonga to Pu Dang Jagar Lusul Tanda Levuk Sante Levuk Juktala Higdoa. The Indutan di Levun Digi turned out Korwa di turned out some of the Korwa the Yang and Devani got the night Chuji Yingam so watching book Ye do me he got out on Bachim Botele Zarni and Darnyo Yomaris.
So this Dharmadhatu, or this word chuying, like is in there's also then in this title the treasury of Dharmadhatu, the treasury of, now I feel like I can't use the word, the basic space of phenomena. And this is very important because, there is this understanding that all the both samsara and nirvana have never actually wavered from or become anything other than the Dharmadhatu, than the expanse of phenomena, the fundamental expanse. They are, and so this is, we have, for instance, at the end of this chapter, it says, this is the second section of the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena concerning the universe of appearances and possibilities arising as a pure realm. And so that really sums it up. In the Tibetan tradition, yeah. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Well, it must say something very similar in the first.
Page 11.
Page 11. This
not
is the first section of the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena, demonstrating that samsara and, yeah, this is exactly what he said, demonstrating that samsara and nirvana by nature do not stray from basic space. So they have never wavered from the Dharmadhatu. And so there is this tradition in Tibetan texts where and Indian texts where the chapter is stated, the title of the chapter is stated at the end of the chapter. And so here it's kind of the summary, this stating that the summary itself, being contained here, that the summary of this chapter being that samsara and nirvana have never strayed from the Dharmadhatu, the Dzogchen ground, primordially. They have never been anything other than the ground and have never been separate.
Here, I think the translator, somehow added a nature in Tibet. In Tibetan, we don't have nature, but sometimes this kind of justification or changing want to make more clear, but sometimes that could destroy the nature of what Longchenpa wants to say, because once you add nature, then there's unnaturally or not natural, how to say?
There's its opposite. If something is natural, then there is the opposite of natural. Or by nature, then what is not by nature?
So
that's
Tibet,
also
we
an
don't have
elaboration.
Nature, yeah.
So nature actually doesn't appear in the Tibetan here. It doesn't say by nature. It just says samsara and nirvana do not stray from the expanse. Ying. Right? Dindati jemati ying yasarara. Chu
No,
ying.
yin is a basic space.
Right, but in Tibetan it's just ying, it's not chu ying.
Yes, Tibetan is just yin here. Which one?
Sorry, I know.
It's okay?
Yep.
So they just add nature in here, by nature. It's unnecessary term. Either by nature or by not by nature, or samsara and nirvana.
I mean, you can just remove by nature and it's fine.
And also do not is an interesting term.
Never.
And it's also sort of never stray from basic spaces, yeah. Do not. Anyway, there's many choices you can make.
But it doesn't say never, actually.
Yeah, but do not. Is,
right, in the Tibetan it doesn't say never either, yeah.
But do not is interesting. Another interesting thing. And this morning...
Have not wavered. Have not?
Yeah,
have not.
Plan was read together the first chapter, because we have new people and we went through this, you believe or not, for half a year, or I don't know how. First we studied this how many months ago? We don't know. February? Okay. Then last Sunday, and last Sunday we finished the first chapter. So if you are new here, wondering what's in this chapter, maybe we can read together to see. English.
Okay, so beginning on page 3. What's that? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Homage to glorious Samantabhadra, naturally occurring timeless awareness, utterly lucid, awakened mind, is something marvelous and superb, primordially and spontaneously present. It is the treasury from which comes the universe of appearances and possibilities, whether of samsara or nirvana. Homage to that unwavering state, free of elaboration, the very pinnacle of spiritual approaches, the expanse in which the sun and moon orbit the most majestic mountain, is the expanse of the Vajra heart essence, spontaneously present and utterly lucid, the expanse of the naturally settled state that entails no effort or achievement. Listen as I explain this superb, timelessly infinite expanse. Within the expanse of spontaneous presence is the ground for all that arises. Empty in essence, continuous by nature, it has never existed as anything whatsoever, yet arises as anything at all. Within the expanse of the three kayas, although samsara and nirvana arise naturally, they do not stray from basic space, such is the blissful realm that is the true nature of phenomena. Mind itself is a vast expanse, the realm of unchanging space. It is indeterminate display, is the expanse of the magical expression of its responsiveness. Everything is the adornment of basic space and nothing else. Outwardly and inwardly, things proliferating and resolving are the dynamic energy of awakened mind. Because this is nothing whatsoever, yet arises as anything at all, it is marvelous and a magical expression, amazing and superb. Throughout the entire universe, all beings and all that manifests as form are adornments of basic space, arising as the ongoing principle of enlightened form. What is audible, all sounds and voices without exception, as many as there may be, are adornments of basic space, arising as the ongoing principle of enlightened speech. All consciousness and all stirring and proliferation of thoughts, as well as the inconceivable range of non-conceptual states, are adornments of basic space, arising as the ongoing principle of enlightened mind. Beings born in the 6 classes through the 4 avenues of rebirth, moreover, do not stray in the slightest from the basic space of phenomena, the universe of appearances and possibilities, the 6 kinds of sense objects manifesting in dualistic perception, appears within the realm of the basic space of phenomena, just as illusions do, manifest yet non-existent. Without underlying support, vividly apparent yet timelessly empty, supremely spacious and naturally clear, just as it is, the universe arises as the adornment of the basic space of phenomena. However things appear or sound within the vast realm of basic space, they do not stray from their spontaneous equalness as Dharmakaya, the awakened mind. Since the timeless state of utter relaxation is naturally empty and without transition or change, whatever manifests constitutes the scope of naturally occurring timeless awareness, the true nature of phenomena, merging in a single blissful expanse, without any effort, without anything needing to be done. Sambhogakaya is unwavering natural lucidity. Even as anything at all manifests, it is by nature spontaneously present, uncontrived and unadulterated, a pervasive state of spontaneous equalness, due to the way in which the distinct myriad display simply arises. Emanations occur naturally, the amazing magic of what has ultimate meaning. They never stray from the holy positive state in which nothing need be done. Within awakened mind itself, which is without pitfalls, the spontaneous perfection of the three kayas, entailing no effort, is such that without straying from basic space, they are spontaneously present and uncompounded. The spontaneous perfection of the kayas, timeless awareness, and enlightened activity, moreover, is a great amassing, the supreme expanse that is timelessly perfect, timelessly arising, timelessly and spontaneously present. This pure realm is without transition or change. With a perception of the true nature of phenomena within basic space, wisdom arises continuously as the adornment of that space. Not created or achieved, it abides timelessly. Like the sun in the sky, it is amazing and superb. Within this ultimate womb of basic space, timelessly and spontaneously present, samsara is wholly positive, nirvana is wholly positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, samsara and nirvana have never existed. Sensory appearances are wholly positive, emptiness is positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, appearances and emptiness have never existed. Birth and death are wholly positive, happiness and suffering are positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, birth, death, happiness, and suffering have never existed. Self and other are wholly positive, affirmation and negation are positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, self, other, affirmation, and negation have never existed. Labeling takes place in confusion, for what is non-existence is taken to exist. Given that the nature of things is similar to that of dream images which have no basis, how exceedingly strange it is to fixate on samsara and nirvana as though they existed in their own right. Everything is wholly positive, a supreme state of spontaneous presence. Since there never has been confusion, is no confusion, and never will be confusion. Conditioned existence is merely a label. Sorry. It is beyond the extremes of existence and non-existence, since no one has ever been confused at all in the past, no one is confused at present, and no one will be confused later on. This is the enlightened intent of the original purity of the three planes of conditioned existence. Since there is no confusion, nothing exists as some unconfused state. Supreme, naturally occurring awareness is timelessly and spontaneously present. Since there never has been freedom, is no freedom, and never will be freedom. Nirvana is just a label, and there is no one who has ever known freedom. There never will be freedom, for there never has been bondage. Complete purity, like space, is free of being restricted or localized. This is the enlightened intent of the original purity of total freedom. In brief, within the ultimate womb of basic space, spacious and spontaneously present, whatever arises as the dynamic energy of its display as samsara or nirvana, in the very moment of simply arising, has never known existence as samsara or nirvana. Whatever arises in a dream due to the dynamic energy of sleep does not actually exist. There is only self-knowing awareness, the blissful place of rest, extending infinitely as the supremely spacious state of spontaneous equalness. This is the first section of the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena, demonstrating that samsara and nirvana by nature do not stray from basic space.
Yeah. See, this one thing, if this text is amazing that we can change practice and also at the same time we can learn to understand the Dzogchen philosophy, and at the same time we can meditate through chanting. And here's one thing that term, often of course my small mind bothers by terms. That's how small my mind is.
It's actually very helpful to know this,
And
at least for me.
on page 4 in Tibetan and 5 on page 4 Tibetan and page 5 on English, there's the second paragraph. You can see Simnyit. Can you see the Simnyit? Right?
Second paragraph?
Yeah, the beginning. Simnyit.
Mind
Simni
itself.
seems here translates mind itself.
Like Simrang.
Chokur Rinpoche often talk about Simnyit once you put Simnyit. Sem la tang nit yoga yana semje ngobo kyuji kutala sergyores. Then the yinchi tola mind itself jina dzogchen ki kapsa sem sedu korwa segno. Sem tang
Rigpa Chabar.
Rigvik chebar simrik yewan chebar separation or the differentiation or distinguishing is very important in the Dzogchen context. That Gunji tang chuku yewas, namshi tang yishi ji yewas, sem tang rigbi yewas, and then yewa cheba. Mind itself, just on kar inji tol kar kosarisan. Ni sem de jachin bochin sare samsona te rigmendo sem ki ngowotel shigarma to sem jertonga so sem nam totel segamaro.
So this is very important, actually. And it's interesting that what they translated as mind itself is actually a term that means the true nature of mind, or mind's essence. And so this is a term, simni. However, like grammatically, I can see why sometimes that might be translated in a way that is like itself, but there's another way to say itself. So that is problematic, that translation of saying mind itself. And the reason for that is because in Dzogchen, so what Simni here is referring to is Dharmakaya. And in Dzogchen, there's a difference between mind and the essence of mind. So mind is samsara, and Rigpa, or intrinsic awareness, is more the meaning of the essence of mind that is being pointed to here. So there's a distinction there between mind and intrinsic awareness, or Sem in Tibetan and Rigpa. There is a distinction between the Alaya consciousness or all-ground consciousness and Dharmakaya, or maybe I shouldn't say Alaya there, Kunji. Digirebe Alaya Lapna? Kunji.
Kunji, yeah, alaya.
Yeah. So there's a difference between the Alaya consciousness, or the all ground, and Dharmakaya. So the Kunji, that's Kunji in Tibetan, and is sort of synonymous, right, with mind. Mind is in deluded mind, the mind of the personality. And Dharmakaya is a part. Then there is the distinction between consciousness and primordial awareness, or namshi is the word for consciousness in Tibetan, and yishi, which is the primordial awareness. So there's these distinctions. So if, for instance, we hear something like mind itself is, what does it say? Mind itself is something wonderful, the vast expanse, the realm of unchanging space. So if we think that that means my mind, my little mind is like this, that is a misunderstanding. It is the essence of awareness itself that is this way. So it's not the numb talk, the mind of numb talk, the mind of conceptual proliferation or discursive thought.
Suchness, it's self-got to the young cigarette, manche suchness.
So suchness I got a
the need said,
ni gidunda suchness.
Suchness,
The togu organ sumurbe.
Organ get and the simnit said, Yam do Yovayana, Yimini Dharmakaya wrongs. Simnit ever he been young, but chuch go tell a cogo.
So Togo Urgyen really emphasized the importance of this term simni, or the essence, mind's essence, or the true nature of mind, and that what that means is the Dharmakaya primordial awareness of, which is also the Buddha nature, the Tathagata Garbha, and so this simni, or essence of mind, or mind's true nature itself, that is rikpa. So sometimes, for instance, ni is the second part of this word in Tibetan, which is the nature of mind, or the essence. But ni, deshin ni, like if you just see it alone, means suchness.
Simnik called mambo here, or in Atana, Jertonga, so Chagachimbo, Gaps. Simni said, same Namtok Semtela Kogumendwa.
So the point here being that also this term simni, the essence of mind, or the true nature of mind, what do you like? How should we translate simni?
I don't know.
In English?
You decide.
No, I am not sure.
Simni. Intrinsic nature of mind.
Intrinsic nature of mind.
Too much, yeah.
That's how I translate Rikpa usually, because I have no idea how to intrinsic awareness. But yeah, intrinsic mind. Yeah, maybe. But that's not very, yeah. So anyway, we hear about it a lot, this term, and also in Mahamudra. But the thing to understand is that Simni is not the mind of namtok. It is not the mind of discursive proliferation.
That's a disagree. Simni yikbu kunji sawontes. Simni yikbu kunji sawonte.
Chikpo kungi sawa.
Kaan la zi tang nyangen den chowa. Kaan le am kaan le. Simni yikbu tu kunji sawontes. Kaan le zi patang nyangen deva nigat choyongores emerge or manifest.
So
Dubi drivu terver shebaye. the Simnigi Rangi Dubik Drivo, Sonji du Componte, Simni de Jagres. Yishin nor the Semla Chansalos, Yorova.
So it is said that this Simni, or true nature of mind, is that this single root of everything, or kind of the source of all. And from this, both existence and nirvana arise. The streams of existence and peace, or the extremes of samsara and nirvana, arise. And from this, the wished for fruition, the wished for fruit of Buddhahood, the state of Buddhahood, is granted. So it is given, that possibility is that state of Buddhahood itself comes from the true essence of awareness, or Semni. And so it is to this wish-fulfilling jewel of the mind, or within the mind, or of the mind, this wish-fulfilling jewel of mind's essence that I prostrate. I prostrate to this wish-fulfilling jewel of the mind, or mind's essence.
Do you know this? Belopa or Naropa?
I do not know.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
We will figure out maybe.
Either
James,
Tilopa
James
or Naropa said this.
Who speaks that, Naropa or Tilopa? What?
How does it, can you repeat the regulation?
I mean, it's so the mind itself is the root of everything.
Now you are.
Or is this just yours? What's that?
Now you are using Simni as mind itself.
Oh gosh, sorry. Habit, yeah. We see it translated that way a lot.
In English translate, that could be that way.
It might be that this is probably that the verse itself is translated that way. So the essence of the mind, the true nature of the mind, is the single root of everything. Whatever all like existence and nirvana, all of so I'm sort of saying this in different ways, translating this in different ways, because we don't know how it's translated into English, but both existence and nirvana, the streams of existence and nirvana come from that essence, and the desired for fruit, the state of Buddhahood, it's literally is given by mind, the mind's essence, this mind's essence, or comes from this essence of the mind itself. So that's using itself as the essence of the mind itself. And it is to that wish-fulfilling jewel of the mind that I prostrate.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, you don't have to know where it comes from.
Yeah.
There are millions of similar things.
One thing I know coming from Langa Avatara Sutra, that Simni Jin Semjin Jikten Tong, No Jin Jikten Shin Na Zongo, Roa Malu Leli Javarson, Simponan Leon Yumai. So here I think it's talk more about the conceptual mind. Probably, but also depend on if you think about Buddha nature, then it's Simni is different. But Simni Jini, Jini, so Simni as a creator, yeah. Simni Jini, Semjin Jikten Tang, Semjin Jikten. Simni Jin Semjin Jikten. No Jin Jikten, not so good, go as create or create, produce, yeah. Simni Jin Semjin Jikten Tang.
So Simni Jini, Simgi Jikten Dang,
Nugi Jikten, Shindu Natso.
Not so
Good.
good.
means produce. Yeah.
mhm.
Rowa malu lele kiavra sons or
Joa
sentient beings
malu
are.
sim ne.
Rowa malu lele kiavra son. Buddha taught that. The song is Simpan lele yumai.
Sim.
If you discard or abandon the mind, then there's no karma. Since here, the simi is probably more conceptual mind. But the same, exactly same term in Tibetan, but sometimes
Used
depend
differently,
on
the context.
where you use it.
So is it the Dinit Susung Yore?
Langa Avatara Sutra.
So then in the Avatara Sutra, it is used, Simni is used in such a way that he actually thinks it is referring to mind itself. It's referring to not the essence of awareness, but mind. So it says the mind itself is that creates the world that is created by the mind, the outer container that is the universe or the environment, the external world, and the minds therein, and it produces it's like an incredible variety of things. All migrators without exception, all beings are born from this. And so in abandoning this, once there is therefore no, in abandoning the mind itself, the mind, then there is no karma. And so this is the meaning of Buddha. Something like that.
Yeah, how you can see how complicated these terms are, but now we know all the differentiations between mind and my nature. And chapter 2 is similar. When you read Chuinzu these chapters in these texts, there's not much. You would not much notice that how it's laid out is more. I would not say random, but it can read each chapter or each session by itself, so you don't need to worry about to start from the beginning to end to understand the meaning of the text, meaning the message itself. You can pull out from maybe one verse or even one line, and so forth. So now, anyway, we are.
He means it's one of those
2.
books you can just open up and say, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how about page 13, the beginning? This is chapter 2. Keep in mind that the concept or the message here is more whatever happens in our daily life, it's never away from the dreams that we have. And in these kind of deluded samsara itself is this dream. When we think about dream, whatever happens or what image just occur in a dream is never away from your the mode of sleep. So that's the message here, that whatever happens, samsaric activities or nirvanic activities that happened, is never stray from this Dharmadhatu. So that's the main message. And then I read Tibetan, and then Virginia will help us to read English, and then we see what here. Yinjiran ye doni lundro la ichadame kundo chabada tayime me dengo chonzan yondo ni me rikvan kadara da miksamdro do travilon ni do.
Given that basic space is by nature primordially and spontaneously present, it is infinitely pervasive with no division into outer and inner. Without any limiting boundaries, it is beyond division into above and below or any other direction. Beyond the duality of spacious versus narrow, awareness pure like space is this very expanse, free of the elaborations of a conceptual framework.
Ying said, long said, the Chuyin Zuke Nang Yangjer Yang the Inchitol Ying said, long said, Yurdu kind of Pechandi Nola, Ying said, basic space, long said, expanse, Yurdu. Yena, Tamang Yenda Jurtsurjelik, Naron Rong Samnad. Sek nyung ya sare sam karsin Phuket ying long says ki rong ro in the basic space and on ringbo chang ro the ying the can expense lamna mendik yujimare long this juria kale carbon ro.
So, right, the chi the yin expanse up garwa.
Dig tegnando, longs denando, longs denando.
Yeah.
Dig, kong gurdu, and the long set expanse your namjuna. Ying said basic space. Yina, taken Ying the expense taken up.
Okay. So there are these two terms that come up here in Tibetan, one being ying and one being long. And we hear that both of these a lot. They appear frequently. And in English, the translator here translates ying as basic space, which we already know the problems with. And then he translates long as the expanse. So one thing too that Kimbo said is, he really feels that when the word is simple and concise in Tibetan, it's better to keep it simple and concise if possible in English too, meaning that ying, for instance, becomes two words, basic and space, it becomes longer. So therefore, if you can translate ying as space, Kimbola says he prefers to translate ying as expanse, which is what the translator here is translating long as expanse. The problem with translating, as Kimbo was saying, as he himself likes to translate ying as expanse, is that then what do we use for long? So long then becomes difficult to translate. So sometimes it might just be ying as space and long as expanse, but he feels the meaning of ying is closer to expanse.
Tene long tanda vastness se gabga tene jurgen tene kenda gat matrix jurgen the kanda yon. Ndona dini inchi tol. This kalikabundo.
So some people translate long as vastness, and some people translate long as matrix, the matrix. But this, any way you slice it, it's kind of challenging in Tibetan. I mean, in English, the translations.
Gabgan dini tenda jigwanda ulevendo ying tong long ninde. Gabgala tenda kaganor. Yinayo the Pichu Chivigavstan using these terms.
I wonder about matrix because in mathematics, sometimes they call an array. So the word matrix, if it was translated by somebody, they might have been thinking of array, because in mathematics, sometimes an array is also a matrix.
Yeah, the long here, whatever we use, matrix or vastness or expanse, that this term can describe not only invisible concept, but it also can describe fire, water, air, cloud. So there's, we can say, merpungji long. When we describe the deity standing at the center of the fire, it's called merpungji long.
So there's something, for instance, that is translated often in generation stage sadhanas, which is usually translated as, the word is long, and it's usually translated as expanse. So it will be like the deity stands amidst an expanse, like but it's actually like a mei pong. So that's like a mass of fire, and usually it becomes then an adjective, right? Or an expansive mass of fire. But is it meant to be expanse there in that context?
That's why I'm saying the long can describe tangible material things, but yin cannot do that. As you say, expanse, or what do you say?
I mean, that's usually how it's translated in that case.
And also jamsu long. It's almost like depth of ocean.
Yes, it's used sometimes to say the expanse of the ocean or the depth of the ocean.
Okay. Yes.
Having talked with some translators who are working on Dzogchen terminology, when they use the term matrix, they're using it more in the biological sense of a substrate, which is a source that things come out of. So not in the mathematical sense necessarily, but I think it's because, and Kempo, maybe you can elaborate on this or correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Longchenpa in one of his treasuries say that the Dharmadhatu is a source? It's a something out of which other things come. And so in English, in the matrix in a biological sense means a substrate out of which you can grow other things. And I think that's the sense in which it's being used here.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. I think that Longchenpa, the term, his name, the first long is this long. Whatever, yes, Longchen, the great.
The great.
Yeah, but also Chuying Long, how to translate that one?
Well, usually we say the expanse of the Dharmadhatu or the expanse of the basic space of phenomena.
Yeah, we can say Chuying Long. Yeah, the long can modify Chuying, the Dharmadhatu. But Chuying, the Dharmadhatu, cannot modify long. So long is, compared to Dharmadhatu, it's a restricted source. Source, what's the origin of source, rather than just expanse.
So I'd like to make sure I understand this. It sounds like you're saying Chuying is restricted to like a field of potentiality only.
No, long.
But you had just said that long might refer to like clouds, fire, like manifest things.
No, I'm talking about here is how we say Chu Ying Ji Long. The Ji is genitive Tibetan here, means the long is modifying Ying,
It's describing yin.
describing long, Ying.
So he's making that distinction that like yin would never modify long. Long would only modify yin.
I follow. I'm talking about the two terms distinctly though, right? Like Chuying is not visible. Did you just, I thought I heard you say that. So
Before, yeah.
then that's like just a field of potentiality with no manifestation yet.
So what you're trying to say is long has a little bit of manifestation in it.
Well, it sounds like it could include both.
Yes, Chuying, here we equating with Dzogchen ground,
Right.
which you could say potentiality, or this doesn't really matter.
Well, just potentiality meaning it hasn't come about yet. It hasn't manifested. It's not visible. It's not perceivable.
Or in other words, yin could only be Dharmakaya and long could be Dharmakaya and the Rupakaya, potentially.
There you go.
Is when we talk about in a Dzogchen context long, and when we just normal description of the deity yogas and other even conventional level, we talk about the long can describe ocean and cloud and space and tangible, non-tangible things, but that doesn't necessarily mean in a Dzogchen context
That it
that's
does.
just,
Okay,
maybe
that's not
Rupakaya,
translatable, transferable, or yeah.
Yeah. But somehow long is
But there's something about the
qualified
word.
to modify yin, but yin cannot
Can't
do
move,
that.
okay.
Yeah, that's different. I think one more question if you have. Yes.
Wait.
This is an important term. Once we know this, then we know everything.
So,
Before we know it, you're all going to be speaking Tibetan. We're just going to.
yeah, right.
Exactly. Yes.
So, is there a distinction between Dharmadhatu and Dharmakaya? Dharmakaya
Oh,
is
he
the-
got into this last time, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Like winter teachings. Chugi ku dang chu yingi chebar. Chebar yorebe. Yeah.
Yes, I think we humans like to categorize things. That's why we have these terms, yeah. So yes, when the purpose of these are tools for understanding, and Dharmakaya means, when we say kaya, means body. Body means people translate as spiritual body or waking body or Buddha body. So means there is a personhood that knows everything, or omnipresent person. That when we say Dharmakaya, because these three kayas are the Buddha bodies. Yeah. When we say that, then it's almost like Dharmakaya is a person. When we
Subjective.
A subject or
Subjective. Subject.
Chuyingro, you know.
Chuying is
Dharmadhatu.
object. Yeah. Dharmadhatu is object.
Dharmadhatu sedu dine kangsa ji yinba tang, sanje yinba xiegimendo. Ko ji yor ji nature, chu ji ying, sayanda, tongba ni sayanda, da meba, yang tak bin ta, te xin yi sayanda, tsu tsoma mengi nam dang re sene.
Jimati gari sunging yang dao pita tani. Jimati. Yishigi.
Kando, churang.
Yu gine so tong ni, tongpa ni da meba yang dao pita.
Yeah, te insang.
Okay. Shimba chek sung sung la to you.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So whereas, the Dharmadhatu is not usually talking about in terms, like you could say the Dharmakaya of the Buddha, you could say Dharmakaya like an individual, like Dharmakaya as an individual, the Dharmakaya Buddha, for instance, right? But you wouldn't say the Dharmadhatu Buddha. You wouldn't associate Dharmadhatu with the person or the non-existent person, the selfless person, but you would associate it as like kind of conceptually speaking as external, right? So like the place of the Dharmadhatu, the nature of external phenomena, perhaps like the nature of emptiness is the Dharmadhatu is emptiness, or selflessness as like the nature of selflessness as an objective, like Dharmadhatu, or the perfected view as Dharmadhatu, but not connected with the, usually it is referred to more objectively speaking and not subjectively speaking.
I've heard it talked about as a place, but place that sounds like it's something somewhere you go, and not that, but place.
Oh, the mic. Oh, so he's saying he has heard of the Dharmadhatu as a place, but then when you think of it as a place, then you think it's like some other place that you go.
So a pure realm, I hate to say formless realm, because that's
like a formless pure realm, but a pure realm that's not the like defiled formless realm.
Yes, of course. Once, in order to understand, or it's helped to understand us that once we categorize this is objects, this is subject, and how subject and object interact each other, and then of course Dharmadhatu is the yul.
Is the object, he's saying. In the context of subject-object, but that is just to conceptually make sense of it all.
Yeah.
That there.
But that doesn't mean that Dharmakaya is different from Dharmadhatu. No.
They're the same.
They
are
the
ultimately
same.
the same.
Yeah. Yeah, the purpose is dhatu as separating from the subject here. The subject is Dharmakaya, the kaya, and these two dharmas, the Dharmadhatu and the Dharmakaya. So Kaya means body, body means a person. And Dhatu means a place or abode or element that need to know. But that doesn't necessarily mean these two are different, two different
But
things.
that's a different, that term dhatu used in that context has a very different meaning, I think, right? The penadendati yang chimchi samsamna dhatu to laukarawa. The chimchi penadi pumpunga or the rangi or gari
that
namshi
elements.
the elements.
Mhm. Dhatu is a lot of meanings. That isn't common at all.
It means so in that case it means element. It is just like a way that element, the word common Tibetan is translated as element.
Yeah, a lot of things to learn. Okay. More questions bring when we get back. I think 3 o'clock. No, not 3 or 2.
2 o'clock.
Or 2 o'clock. And we will discuss more. Don't worry about how fast we can go on this text to finish it, but more spending more digest terms and concept and message more important than finishing fast the text.
Yeah, the longer the better.
Yeah.
So at the bottom of page 24, we can recite the dedication prayer. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings and samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dirgungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Zolti. And everyone on Zoom.
Everyone on Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll see you back here at 2 o'clock when we'll finish up the teachings for the day.
Yeah, it's fun. You want more chai? I was going to go to the store with more chai.
There's this type, I'll give you the grass.
Also chai?
Yeah, it's really great because it's caffeinated.
They might have it in the old one.
They have it everywhere else.
It's 50-50. We had a little bit of it. Maybe. But there was some auspiciousness, so it was like the external circumstances. We were dealing with our own stuff. But it seems like we found this spot. Exactly. I understand too, but not at the same time. So, where's the rest? Some soup? What, tonight, for dinner?
He's making it now.
Yeah. That's fine. Okay, but I'm gonna shut the windows. What is next for the morning? You have no big games.